you have for us?
I have our object lesson.
Ooh.
And our object lesson, yeah, our object lesson is easy to do today. You're only going to need a few things. You're going to need a chair. You're going to need your feet or legs, not just feet, but you're going to need your legs. You're going to need a wall. Let me see if I can get this over here. Let's see. Going to need our wall. And then I want you to get some heavy books. So I have a few heavy books here. And today, sorry guys, we are learning about Gideon and how Gideon and the Israelites were suppressed. They had a bunch of people that didn't like them and take their food and just not be very nice to them, right? They were much bigger and stronger than them. And Gideon, he thought of himself to be a real tiny guy. You know, his father's family wasn't that powerful, and then he wasn't very powerful in his own family. And so he didn't seem to be like the others, you know, the other, what are they called again, Miss Jenny? The Midianites? I don't want to say it wrong.
Yes, the Midianites.
Midianites.
The Midianites, yeah.
Midianites, see? I added another, I don't know, an N or something in there. Midianites. So Gideon knew he wasn't as strong as the Midianites, okay? And so he was hiding, like Miss Jenny was saying. And then an angel popped up and said, hey, mighty man of victory, right? And he's like, I think you might have ended up in the wrong, you know, wine press, because that doesn't sound like me. I'm just, you know, trying to get some food without the enemies catching me, you know, and taking it away. So he's like, no, you are strong. Even your people are strong, right? And so Gideon ends up finding out through the series of events that with God, he is stronger than by himself. And so now we know people that may be strong. Take a minute to think about people that you know of that are strong, that can probably do some really cool things. Mrs. Jessica, who's somebody that you think is really strong and can do some impressive stuff?
Well, I think that my mom's pretty strong, and back in the day, she can do some pretty impressive stuff.
Mrs. Jenny, do you have anybody that you think is really strong and does impressive things?
I think that Mr. Shane is pretty strong.
Mr. Shane is pretty strong. I
Yeah.
think my grandma is really strong. She does some amazing things, even when she has a lot of challenges. And I think, wow, Grandma, how are you going to do this one? She does it. She's pretty strong. Now, we know that we can do things ourselves. We have what's called our own strength. There are things that we can do. We can, you know, start our own company and make lots of money, or we can meet what we call contacts in the big world, where we meet other big people and they know people who do powerful, strong things, right? So we have our own strength. So we're gonna do our first part of our object lesson, and we're gonna use our chair and our legs, and we're gonna see what our own strength is with these books, okay? So I'm gonna turn my phone around. And what I want you to do is I want you to, well, first, maybe have a helper if you can to help with the book part. What we're going to do is you're going to put your legs out. You're going to have your back up against the back of your chair, and then you're going to stick your legs straight out. And we're going to see what kind of strength we have with holding up our large books. Okay, so we're going to stick our legs straight out and then hold it there for a moment. Maybe count to 10. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6, 1,000, 7, 1,000, 8, 1,000, 9, 1,000, 10, 1,000. All right, add your first book. Ooh, I still got some strength. I can hold that book. Move my other books over. All right, what was that, about another 10 seconds? Let's add our other book. Oh, Make sure you get some heavy books. Don't hurt yourself. If you need to break, if you can't hold up your book, you need to put ahead and do that. Make sure you don't smash your toes with your books, okay? All right. Ooh, my legs are starting to get tired. I can feel the burn. All right, my biggest book. Here we go. Woo! My legs are tired. I want you guys to think about what you're feeling right now. You're doing this in your own strength, okay? You're using the power of your own legs to hold up these heavy books. But I want you to think about how your legs are feeling right now, okay? Like if you can see my legs are starting to get a little wobbly holding my book. I think I'm gonna take a break. Woo. Ah. All right, now that are pretty, but as Gideon knows, just like they know, in the power of their own strength, they could sneak and get some food so they can thresh the wheat and they could have some food and they can be quiet if they were quiet enough. The Mennonites wouldn't know about them taking the food, and so they could have it. That's something they did in their own strength. But the angel came and he told them that with God's strength, you are actually a man of glory. You're a man of the mind. I want to say it exactly like my angel book. It says in my Bible, it says, the angel said, you mighty man of valor. That's so cool. And so what I want you to do is to see that in Gideon's own strength, in the Israelites' own strength, they were able to scrounge up some food so that they could eat. But they weren't thriving. They didn't have all the food that they wanted to eat, and they couldn't live freely. But God was going to help them and give Gideon, who thought he was really small, give him a lot of strength through God, and not only make Gideon strong, but make the Israelites strong again, right? But God didn't want them to forget that it was God's strength that was helping them, not their own. Just like our books, we did our books with the legs, and we did it in our own strength. But now I want you to do the books again, and I want you to use a wall, okay? And the wall is going to be our support, just like God. And we're going to see how different it is using God's strength with us and how we can hold those books up again. So let's try it again. And turn my chair. Here's my wall. Okay, make sure your back is up against your chair. Ooh, yeah. Okay. Ooh, yeah. Just think about it now. When you were hanging your feet up, so if you want to, try it again and see how you feel. I don't know about you, but I feel more secure. There's more stability. And you scoot back a little bit. My legs aren't just hanging out there. Look at that. That's when I'm not touching the wall. It's kind of harder to hold my legs up. But if I get closer and I use the wall, much more stable. Just like with God, we know, like my grandma can do a lot of things in her own strength, but there are things that just won't happen without God's help, And I'm sure you can think of a few things in your life. Oh my gosh, look at that. I'm not even shaking. This is so easy, guys. If you're doing this with me, you know what I'm talking about. So easy. Look, not even, I bet you I could probably bring out 15 more books and put them on my legs. Look at that. So easy. It makes it so much easier. God's strength in our life and him helping us makes us stronger. Even if we think we're so tiny ourselves, we can be the tiniest person in our house, and God will still say, no, you have strength. You want to know why? Because you have me. And if you couple with me, you can have these books on your legs all day long. I can also help you be free from your enemies, not with 32,000 people in your army, but with 300 in your army. So that's pretty awesome. What's something that you have done? What is something that has happened in your life that was done by strength because you have God in your life? What's something to you, Mrs. Jenny?
I think probably what we're doing now. I'm basically teaching the kids at home and working and all of that, and I couldn't do all that because there's not that many hours in the day. And I couldn't do everything that I have to do
Yeah.
every day without God.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Mrs. Jessica, is there something that has happened in your life that kind of wouldn't have, well, not kind of, wouldn't have happened without God's strength in your life? Something that you couldn't really pull off, or somebody else, but with God you could, kind of like taking over the other army with only 300 soldiers.
There's a lot of things. Well, I know that my family, when I was pregnant with Catalina, my family before I got pregnant used to like talk a lot about how difficult labor is, and they made it sound really scary. And when I had to go through it, I felt very weak, like I wasn't going to be able to go through the whole labor thing. But once, Catalina was delivered, I felt weak, but yet I still felt some strength that was still keeping me in there, that was keeping me alive and not wanting to just um, it was just strength that kept allowing me to continue breathing. But if I wouldn't have had that strength, coming from God, like telling me, don't go now, stay in the game. If I wouldn't have had that strength, I probably would have, I don't know what would have happened, but I probably wouldn't have been able to do it.
Mrs. Jenny and Mrs. Jessica, because my dad came down to visit me last week, and my mom was here too. And something that I know that I didn't do in my own strength, and certainly nobody else did, because if I couldn't get my mom and dad to get along, like I'm their first baby child, then who else could get them to get along, And for a long time, my mom and dad did not like being around each other. And I had to schedule different appointments to see them at different times, so I know that I wouldn't make one or the other upset. And they let God into their heart. And now, when my dad was here last week, my mom and my dad actually sat out here and had, a snack with me, and we were talking. And then my dad gave my mom a ride to work. I mean, like, only God could do that, right? Only God can change our hearts to where people that normally wouldn't get along can now get along. I mean, it didn't happen overnight. Don't get me wrong. It took some time. They had to grow in God and, with themselves. But in time, now we can hang out together. And I don't have to worry about, oh no, mom just showed up. Now dad might get upset, And it's, just hang in there and give it to God. And you may not see it right away, but trust him. Just like Gideon trusted him, He said, you can build this altar. I will protect you. You will get this done. You will not die. You will get the enemies out of your territory, and I will help you. And you won't need all those people. You'll need you can do it with a smaller army, because I'm there. Give me time. Let me work. Trust me. And he did. Gideon, one process after the other. Gideon got bigger. He got braver. He got stronger. He got shot. He won more and more battles, and it's awesome. And you guys can do the same thing too, because God loves you, and so do we. So that's my object lesson this week. Mrs. Jessica, on to you.